Okay, let me see. I'm not wearing microphone. Let me see. How can you hear me? Woohoo! Thank you, thank you. 45 seconds. I don't know if the microphone will work. Hopefully it will work. Kitty Southheart said hi. Kitty, can you hear me well? Is the sound good? So today, get ready with me. I'm going with taking my daughter to meet her friends for the gelato at the local Italian shop. And before I'm gonna go, I'm gonna put light makeup. So today I'm gonna try, they gave me a sample the last time I was in Sephora. They gave me a sample of Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. This is the color 2C Oak, the light color. So this moisturizer is supposed to have SPF 40, and it's like very popular these days. And how you been, Kitty? I've been okay, thank you. So I'm gonna try this moisturizer. I'm gonna put light makeup to go to meet Stella's friends and their parents for the ice cream. And today, Stada Buddy, hey, welcome. And today I'm gonna tell you, I was trying to use Shark to get my curls, but something was going on and my curls didn't turn out very well. I just used Shark brush to make my hair a little more, like give it a little more volume. I don't know, some days I just, like the air wrap technology doesn't work for me. So a couple of days ago I had a mask disaster because I bought this Kerastase purple mask to take off the yellowish of my hair, and instead of yellow I got my hair dyed purple. I probably overdid it. It's only says you have to hold it for 5 minutes, and I held it more than 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, my hair turned really purple, but I hope you don't see it as much because it's washing off. I started to wash it off. It's supposed to get off the yellowish tone from your bleached hair, and I have highlights, and instead of taking the yellow off, my hair turned completely purple. So if you see some pieces of purple, or you think I am going gray, that's totally fine, because I hope it's gonna reverse at some point. There were too many troubles, I'm busy this week at work. We were moving in after renovation. We were moving back in the office, and I'm tired from carrying all the boxes and unpacking and settling in my new office. So my hair disaster was the least of my problems this week, believe me or not. I'm on the very important committee at work, and I had to do something before the meeting next week. So for the past 2 days, I've been focusing on work and being a part of that important committee, and I had to, get ready for the meeting on Tuesday. But on Monday, I'm taking a day off because I'm going somewhere, and stay tuned because I'm gonna do live stream from the place I'm going to, the most magical place on earth. So stay tuned. That's gonna be on tomorrow and the Monday. So I'm going on a little staycation here in town. 4 months and 27 days before my birthday. Kitty, that's good for you. 4 months, okay. It's not too bad. My birthday is in August, and again, if you're first time on my channel, I'm Kate B, and today I'm putting a light makeup for going out with my daughter's friends. My daughter is 11, she's going to be 12 in August, and she's meeting her friends from school for ice cream, and I coordinated with the parents, with the moms, so we're meeting in this Italian place, and I'm dressed up casually. Like, that's my outfit, that's my skirt with the little bows, and that's my little short top, crop top. I usually don't wear crop tops, but since I've started to lose weight again, this crop top looks good with this skirt. I think it's skirt, you know, skirt or skirt, like whatever. It has shorts underneath. So I'm excited. What's your date of birth? I'm on August 12th. I was born on August 12th. So if you haven't watched my recent videos, please watch, support my channel, because videos don't get a lot of, you know, views. And that's my memories, that's my diary of the life. And I put some new videos with events happening in May, and stay tuned. I'm gonna post more videos about places we go, and at the end of the month I'm going on vacation, so stay tuned. I'm gonna do live stream and videos and shorts from vacation too. Okay, so Laura Mercier, let's try. And again, it's tinted moisturizer. I'm gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna use my fingers to put it on my face. They gave me a sample because I wasn't sure about texture when I tried it at the store. I like more liquidy texture, but since it's tinted moisturizer, it's a little bit more creamy. It's not as liquidy as my foundation. So, and that color was oak. It was with neutral undertones, and at first when you apply it, it feels a little bit dark, but I think if I blend it in, it's not going to be as dark. It's going to complement and smooth the tone of my natural skin. And everybody is raving on YouTube. I'm watching a lot of videos, and a lot of makeup bloggers are raving about this product, tinted moisturizer. Since it has SPF, it's lighter than foundation for the summer, and it has SPF. It's a great choice if you don't like heavy makeup. And it does moisturize your face through the day, your skin. So that must be a good product. So what do you think? Today I'm gonna tell you the story. I've been listening to Sad Crime podcast, and I'm gonna just tell you the story because it touched me. I was, some of you may know that I was an au pair when I first came to the United States in 2003. I've been placed in the family of a lady. She was a doctor and her husband was an insurance agent, and I lived in Kansas City, and I took care of 2 kids for this family. So this was a hosting family in Kansas City. It was in Missouri. It was very boring there. I couldn't drive a car, so I was stuck in the house. And my friend Barbara would pick me up on the weekends and take me out for fun. But this crime story I've heard on the podcast is really, really sad, and it makes me really upset because it kind of, you know, brings memory of my au pair days, and I was shocked to hear that things like that happen, and I would personally never get an au pair to live in my house because I have my father to be my helper. When I had second child, and we kind of managed with the first child, we managed with the daycare when we didn't have my father. I work full-time, so we kind of managed. We paid for the daycare for my second kid after she turned 2, but before she was 2, my father came to the country and helped me with the baby. So I would never consider au pair. First of all, it's very expensive to have an au pair. Second of all, you don't want a random, you know, girl. You don't know if you're gonna get along with her. So I was au pair myself, but I think I was very good. I was from third world country, from the very poor country, so I wanted to have that experience, and I wanted to abide the rules and household rules and listen to my host family and not to fool around. But this girl from Brazil, she was au pair in Virginia. I don't know if you live in Virginia, if you heard the story. It happened in February 2023. and it's still not closed because the people are on trial and investigation is still going on. But from what we know so far, this girl, she was 21. She came from Brazil, from the very, very poor family. Okay, I don't like that it has a little oily texture after I applied it, and it does have this glowy, a little bit of glowy and dewy effect on my skin. I like more matte foundations, but since it has the SPF and it's a sample, I want to wear it through the day and see if I like it. I'm gonna go along with it, and it seems light, but at this point it looks a little too glowy for me. What do you think? Gives me nice smooth color of my skin. It's very sheer. It's not too thick coverage. See, you want to wash your hands after you apply it. How many kids you having? Well, I have my kids are 16 and almost 12. I have 2 kids, but when I was an au pair, I took care of 2 kids also. Kids were 15 months apart. I took care of the little baby since the baby was 3 months, and I took care of the little girl. The baby's sister was 18 months. But listen to that story that happens in Virginia. This is very young family. The guy was accountant and the girl was a nurse. The guy's name is Brendan and the lady's name is Christine. And they met in college and they fell in love, and she was a nurse and he was an accountant. But they bought this after they got married, they bought this huge, beautiful house. And it was very expensive, and it was, you know, hard to make money to afford this house. So the guy even went and worked for Uber after his shift at work to pay bills. But they were working so much that they needed help with the child care. Their kid was like 3 or 4, and they hired this au pair from Brazil. And this girl from Brazil, Juliana, she was 21, something like that. She was from Brazil, but when they started to show her pictures, she's so vulgar for being 21. She looks so vulgar to me, like all this red lipstick and like this, you know, like just this look. Like when I was 21, I looked nothing like, you know, vulgar like that. I think I don't know what it is, but you know, she almost looked like gypsy, that girl. And she came from Brazil and she wanted to be a nanny in this family, an au pair. And she was very welcome in the USA, and the host parents and I remember how host parents, they try their best because they're gonna trust you, their kids in my case. So they want you to be happy, they want you to adjust to the culture, they want to give you a comfortable, you know, room, comfortable area to sleep, privacy. They don't want to be on your nerve. And I know these people from the story, they had a huge 5-bedroom house in a nice, very nice affluent neighborhood of Virginia. So this girl, she came from like a poverty, from outskirts of whatever, Rio de Janeiro, like from a very poor family. And she came to the United States, and I know exactly how she felt. Everything was so grand and people taking good care of her because they want her to be happy to take good care of their daughter. And this girl, she lived with them. I don't know when exactly after she arrived that bad thing happened. But one morning she left the house, the au pair, the nanny, she left the house with the little girl to go to the zoo. And when she left, she remembered that she forgot to bring the lunch. And on the way to the zoo, she decided to return back to the house and grab the bags she prepared. So when she came back to the house, she saw a car on the driveway, and she knew that her host mom, Christine, the lady, the mother of the child, she was home. And Juliana, the au pair, she saw a car on the driveway, and she kind of got scared because she didn't know that someone was expected in the house. So she didn't want to go inside to ask and grab their lunch bags. She called Christine on her cell phone and tried to check who is at the door, whose car is on the driveway, blah, blah, blah. So at first it doesn't sound suspicious, but listen to what's going on next. So when she didn't get in touch with Christine, she kind of started to panic, and she started to call Dad on the cell phone to tell the dad that there is a random car on the driveway. And the dad of the little girl, the host dad, the family she lived in, Brandon, his name is Brandon, he picked up the phone and he told her not to go in the house, just wait for him, and they'll go to the house together because he doesn't know if anybody coming to visit or fix something, and he kind of told her not to go inside the house. So when the dad gets back, and that's in the morning, when the dad gets back to the house, they go together from some kind of like door, the basement door, and because they have a kid with them, they leave the kid in the basement and they try to go together upstairs, the nanny and the dad. And they kind of tell the police that they hear the commotion, and they go and see a stranger, a man, having a knife and fighting with the lady, with the wife in the bedroom. And they scream and they try to help to help the mom, the mom of the kid, Christine. And then Brandon tells this nanny, Juliana, to go to the safe and grab a gun. But Brandon works for IRS, and he works for the fraud department, and he has his work gun, he has his work weapon. So it's kind of like when the story evolves, it's kind of like strange. If he has the already a gun, why he's asking the nanny to go get a gun? But anyways, the nanny goes to the safe and she gets a gun, and she shoots the intruder. She shoots the guy who was attacking the wife, the host mom. And then she's all, like nervous, and the lady is still alive. They take her to the hospital, they call 911 and everything. So when the police comes, the police have a camera, and they were able to, when they talk to Juliana, to the nanny, they are able to record this conversation on the body cam. And then that's how you listen to the girl, like to her story right after this happened. And this au pair, she's like being very hysterical, she's being very emotional, trying to tell that she came back in the house and she got scared of the random car on the driveway. And she said that she called the dad, and then they found the intruder, blah, blah, blah. So, and her story, like, she's very hysterical, she's very emotional. And first time you see that, you believe it, because the person just been through a lot. A person, like a young person in her 20s, she shot a random guy. Okay, today I'm gonna put a very little of the eyeshadow, and I'm gonna use this eyeshadows. I like very budget, very inexpensive. I bought them in TJ Maxx, and they are Ellen Tracy. They don't have a lot of pigment, but I kind of feel like to put a little bit something on my eyes. So I'm using this brush, and I'm using this medium transition to put in my crease and over my, as a base color, as a transition color over my eyelid, and a little over the crease. So at first, when they show the body cam footage, you believe the nanny that she really is hysterical and she just killed a random intruder. So I can imagine. And at first, when you see it, you kind of like, you don't know what's going on. And it's very scary experience for everybody. And the lady, they took her to the hospital, but because she had a lot of knife wounds, she didn't survive. And imagine, she's a nurse herself, and she was caring for a lot of other people, but Unfortunately, no one could take care of herself, of her. Like, she dies, you know, so she dies from all these wounds at the hospital. And for some reason, the dad acts very weird. He doesn't want to, he shuts down, he doesn't want to speak to the police. Obviously, he's grieving, he takes care of his kid, you know, and, you know, but something is going on that, you know, like, it's weird. The police starting to think that why the nanny will be so scared to go in the house. Like, it could be anybody's car. They live in a good neighborhood, you know, the friend could visit her host mom, so there is no reason for her to be that scared. So later on, when investigation was ongoing, they discovered something on the family computers, that apparently the mom, the Christian, the deceased, she had an account on some dating website where people trying to hook up for different kind of like weird kinky sexual relationship. And, you know, it was out of character that she would have that account. And the guy who was an intruder, it happened to be a person who lived in the neighborhood, and he was he didn't have a profile of a killer. Nobody would think he would do something like that. But nevertheless, he was hooking up on the website with Christine. But later on, the investigation is still ongoing, and after some time, when they go back to the house to do another search, all of a sudden they see that the nanny lives in the house with the father, and there is a photo on the bedstand where the lady got killed, and in the same bedroom where the lady got killed, there is a photo of Brandon with the au pair. They kind of hooked up and they are in a relationship. So police doesn't like that, and they start to suspect something, and they start to investigate even more. So it appears, and okay, they arrested the nanny, blah blah blah, because they see some footage before the killing. They see some pictures that the father, the host father, took the nanny to the shooting range. It looked like a date or something. But anyways, they started to think that something was going on between Brandon and nanny before his wife got killed. So the investigation was ongoing, and you know, it looks like Brandon and his mother calling to the girl, to the au pair, to the nanny, call to her in jail and try to send her letters or something. And it feels like something must going on, that, you know, the people are afraid that the nanny will talk against, the nanny might talk against and tell the truth what's going on. So the nanny is in jail, and the nanny keeps pleading she's innocent, but at some point they make her talk, and she says that the host father, the husband of the killed lady, he was plotting all this crime, and he wanted to get rid of his wife, but he came up with that plan that she is... Hi, Stella. Are you getting ready?
Yeah.
I'm doing my live stream.
Oh.
I'm gonna be ready at around 2:05. Okay? And we can go around 2:10.
Should I eat lunch now?
Yeah, you can eat lunch now. So, and she's telling the police that it was actually Brandon who came up with the idea of this online account. And when they were looking into that like kinky website where, you know, it looked like Christine made her profile with her picture in the swimsuit. It looked like when she was engaged in the conversation on the website, it looked like it wasn't her way of writing things. Like a lot of, investigators trying to see, and somehow they didn't feel like it was her writing all this conversations. So later on during the investigation, they learned that that was Brandon who opened the account on behalf of his wife, and who was talking to that guy, and he was luring that guy in the house on that particular day. And this killing was premeditated, was planned, because he was trying to tell the nanny and have a plan and handle that plan in a way that he wasn't going straight to work. He went to McDonald's and he was waiting for the nanny's call when she going back to the house. So they have a story how it's gonna look like. And he actually made the nanny kill the guy, so it doesn't look like he killed the guy. And they lured the neighbor, the guy who got killed. He wasn't even trying to kill the lady. He was lured there because he thought she was interested in him in some kind of like kinky relationship and having fun. But that was actually Brandon, her husband, who was writing on behalf of her, pretending to be Christine, pretending to be a woman interested in this kind of sexual relationship. And the poor guy, all his guilt, he didn't kill the girl, he didn't kill the lady. He just came there, and she was probably surprised. But then Brandon actually did the killing with a knife, because the nanny, the nanny's role was to shoot the innocent guy. It was like very messed up. So what bothers me in this story, that how the police has to do their job. I understand that part, but what bothers me is that because she's not the girl, she's not the citizen. She's just here on a random temporary visa, and they made her to make a deal. As soon as she starts talking and explaining what happened, they will let her. They made a deal that she would be only charged and sentenced to the amount she's already been in jail in the time of investigation. And she started to talk, and that's how they made her talk, because in this case, whatever she serves now in jail, after they convict the father in the plot and handling the murder of his wife, the girl actually can go home to Brazil. And this is how they kind of made her talk. And she had to tell the full story. They actually did have a relationship, and that was Brandon's idea to get rid of his wife. That wasn't her idea. Like what she's saying, that she didn't want to kill her, and he didn't want a divorce, so he wanted to kill her. So what bothers me, this girl is 21. She's been in such a, at 21, you realize what's going on, you know that, if even, I think you're not stupid at 15, at 16. If you came overseas, you have to behave in a way like you're in a family and do your job and be nice. These people gave you a roof. These people gave you a great experience to be a part of your family. And I remember, I didn't take it for granted. Sometimes when my host mother was not happy with me, she'll talk to me, what's wrong, and she'll explain what the expectations are and everything. So in this case, this girl, the host mom, was so nice to her, and this girl went behind her back. And now what bothers me, she's not going to be sentenced, even because she told her story, and she explained that the whole plot of the crime was made by the husband, by the host father. She's gonna escape. She's gonna escape the sentence. She's gonna be just, deported back to her country, and she's gonna be, kind of like, she's not gonna be punished for the crime she did. But she actually killed the innocent person who came for, who was the young guy who came because he thought he met someone on the website. He had no clue that he's gonna lose his life in such a sick plot of this like bad people. And I feel bad that even in this case, American justice is trying to only punish the father, even, for the crime, and the girl will be most likely sent home at the end of this year, because the trial will start in December, and that's, for now, we don't know how much the father will get for plotting and killing his wife in such a crazy way. So that's the story I wanted to tell you, because it really touched me. It really made me feel like how much evil we have in this world. And I don't care if men want to fool around. I don't care if they want to sleep around or fool around or have adultery or different relationship. I don't care about how hard it is to get divorced in the States. I just don't understand why people just be honest and leave each other and move on with their lives. Why do they have a need to kill, to commit a crime, to take a life? And and that guy seemed like not a random guy on drugs. This guy seemed to be very well educated, This guy seemed to be, having a good job, and you would think IRS, Internal Revenue Service. And he's been working in a fraud department, what was his, I don't know what made him. And again, everybody, I read comments and stuff, and everybody say, oh, he's losing the mind over 21-year-old slut. Yeah, she was a real slut, coming from a third world country, and from the poverty, trying to get experience in the USA. She had no business to hook up with the guy, and she had no business to behave so vulgar around the guy. That guys are stupid sometimes. And he was older, and he thinks she was young, and they had sexual relationship. But what made him kill? What made him kill the mother of his child? But what made him kill? That the divorce will be painful and he has to pay money, or what makes people to become monsters? I don't understand this part. And we're never probably gonna know, because not many people want to confess and tell why they had this, evil plot. But it bothers me that, it's not like alcoholics, it's not like bombs, it's not like people who live on the streets. These are well-educated people, and they had a good relationship before the nanny showed up in their house. Well, we can't really tell what kind of relationship they had before the nanny was living with them. But anyways, if you had bad relationship, if you have troubles in the relationship, You know, the last thing on your mind should be to harm your once loved one, to harm your child's, mother. So this guy is a real monster, but the girl is also a real monster, the nanny. So I think that I don't know if she will be prosecuted in Brazil when she goes back, but I wish she gets some kind of punishment for what she's done and how she behaved. And I know she served already a couple of years in prison since 2023 when she was arrested. And that's probably, that was a part of the deal she got to get out, that all the sentence she's doing now is a part of her punishment already. But I think it's not enough, she's gonna go back to her country, and she's not gonna have this guy who got killed, he's never gonna get justice. And the lady who lost her life just because her husband was a jerk and wanted to fool around, they're not gonna get justice if only Brandon goes to jail. So that's my take on this story, and that's how I see it. And I don't know if I don't think in Brazil they can prosecute her for the crime committed in the United States. I think she's gonna move on with her life, and I don't know, she might even write a book. So that's killing me, that it's literally, I don't understand the part when criminals get away and the criminals don't get charged properly for their wrongdoing, and they even become famous by telling their story and selling their story for movies or for a book. So I don't like that part. Okay, we only have 5 minutes left. So how do you like this makeup? And again, those are very, very light, not very pigmented eyeshadows, but since I've been practicing putting eyeshadows, I think it's not too bright. And I'm gonna use this L'Oreal True Match blush. So what do you think, guys? Have you heard about the story of Anna Delphi, who pretended and scammed bankers in New York? She still hasn't been deported, but I hope she'll be deported at some point, because she's still in the country, and they made a movie about Anna Delphi case. But I don't understand how the criminals get such a popularity these days. And it's killing me that our society is craving more of those criminal stories, and the movies and the books and the shows are made on real life TV, and kind of make these people famous instead of them being punished and get rotten in the jail. They get all this fame. And another story that's killing me, of the girl who got out after she was in jail for 8 years. That girl who killed her mom. She plotted to kill her mom with her boyfriend because her mom abused her and made her act like disabled. This what's her name? Blanchard. The story of Rosie Blanchard, or what was her name? What was the girl's name? But it's killing me that now she's famous. She's on that, show, reality show. I'm like, she's a criminal. There is no, I know she gives interviews and she tells her story, blah, blah, blah. I know she was desperate. But, my point is, why the money is made on the criminals. I know it's a huge money, but where is the moral? Why the money is made on the people who have to be forever forgotten and, you know, not being mentioned. I don't know. That's the society now. Everything gets sold, you know, everything gets, you know, exchanged for a big buck. And YouTube is a part of it too, because people trying to tell you the stories from their own personal lives. I've been watching this lady from England, and her husband been cheating on her, and she's telling that story, and you get lost. You don't know if it's enacting on YouTube or it's a real story. And it bothers me because, you know, there is no any way to tell if the person wants to make a big buck, and she's eager to share her story on YouTube and she gets lots of views and lots of comments, and she provoke her viewers to give lots of critical comments too. And you never know if this lady, she's telling the truth, because something is not sitting with you well. Like if you have a bad relationship with your husband, if you're going through a like hard life situation, why would you try to go to YouTube to tell people? Because at first her channel started as being very, you know, very nice, and all of a sudden she said all these years her husband been cheating on her. And you know, as a viewer, I feel a lot of I feel sorry for her, and I want to support and encourage her, but the part of me doesn't believe in the stories anymore. So what I'm trying to say, that these days you can tell, you know, the truth from lie very easily, because people lie for their own like weird reasons, and they can even reason those lies if you ask them, if you put them on the spot. So these days you never know. You can't really, like, I'm speaking to you from my heart, but that's your choice to believe me or not believe me, because I'm a random person on YouTube telling you stories about my life. And that's your responsibility to, you know, take it with a grain of salt or believe me 100%. And that's only on you, you know, you're kind of like how you comprehend and how you believe certain YouTubers you watch. But these days for me, you know, I want to believe that people are sincere, but I don't anymore, you know. Like, I want to believe that people are sincere because I'm sincere, you know, and I expect people to act the same towards me. But especially on YouTube, like, I feel sorry for that lady. I like her stories. I feel sorry, and she has a talent to tell her story. But I cannot be 100% sure those are not just fantasies, just something she's telling you for content, for the views, and for developing of her channel. Maybe one day she comes out and she says all this was a mistake, he wasn't actually cheating, blah blah blah. And it could be, you will never know the truth. That's what I'm trying to say. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for listening to my story and looking me putting my makeup. So what do you think? Is it looking too bright with the eyeshadows? Maybe I shouldn't put a lot of eyeshadows. Maybe I can blend them in a little more. I only put like less pigmented ones, but I still can notice them. And the Slora Marcia, at first I didn't, yeah, at first it felt really glowy to me. But if you feel like, that's a tip, if you feel it's glowy, you can always put a setting powder. And if you feel like it's a little dewy or glowy, you can always set it with the setting powder. But I didn't want to put too much makeup today, so, but I still gonna put a little bit of setting powder. Thank you for being with me this Saturday afternoon. My husband had to work today because he's finishing a very important client, so I'm taking my daughter for a little outing, and my 16-year-old, she's driving by herself, so she has such a fun life of a teenager. Now she's feeling so independent to drive everywhere to meet with her friends, and I'm not okay with that. I'm still grieving about like her being so grown and independent. But you know, she's living the life. She went to a special event. There was her birthday gift, and there was special event at Universal after closing. They had the whole night. They had unlimited food and drinks and unlimited rides without lots of people and crowds. And that was her birthday gift for her, and she took her friend over. So she had a fun night yesterday. She had a blast. She sent me all these pictures of food and everything. And today she's going to meet her friend from the gymnastics club she was going to. And oh my gosh, I just broke my... What happened? Look. My lipstick just broke. Oh my gosh, it's such an expensive lipstick, and it broke like a random chapstick. It does feel like chapstick. Okay, thank you for being with me. 46 minutes, a little live stream to say hello and wish you a good weekend. Stay tuned because I'm going to a fun place. I'm gonna go out and talk to you about more, you know, like how I react to news and stories and things. And please ask me questions. Please let me know any topics you want to talk about. And thank you for stopping by and supporting my channel. Bye bye. Love you. Have a good weekend. See you again soon. Bye bye. Love you all. Bye.